Good evening. This is Mike Clark on Channel X Radio, coming to you live from downtown Hawkins, Indiana. It's late in the fall of 1983, the kind of night where the town gets quiet after the high school game. The lights dim along Main Street, and you can almost hear the hum of the power lines stretching out over the cornfields. But tonight, folks, the quiet feels heavier than usual. The Hawkins Sheriff's Department has been on high alert since early morning. A 12-year-old boy, Will Byers, has been reported missing, last seen around Mirkwood Road, near the edge of town. Chief Jim Hopper has deployed search teams into the woods, and they've been out there since sunrise. People are starting to gather outside the police station, worried, whispering that something's not right. You know, in a small town like ours, everyone knows everyone. A missing kid isn't just a headline. It's a wound that runs through every family here. Parents are keeping their children home, and even the usual laughter outside Melvald's general store has gone silent. Hopper told Channel X earlier today that they don't suspect foul play, yet. But the way he said it, the way his voice hung in the air, you could tell he's shaken. This isn't the kind of case he's used to.
And you can feel that, Mike. It's in the air, even here in the studio. This town has seen storms, power outages, factory layoffs, but never this kind of fear. I was just over by the Byers' house earlier this evening talking to Joyce. She hasn't slept since Will disappeared. Said she's been calling the phone over and over, hoping to hear his voice. And you know what's strange? She told me she did hear something. Static, a faint breathing sound, maybe even a whisper, before the line went dead. I don't know what to make of it, and neither does she. Neighbors said their lights flickered around the same time. People are saying it could have been a surge, but the power company says everything's stable. There's this uneasy feeling, like the town itself is holding its breath. Chief Hopper's got volunteers moving through the woods tonight with flashlights and dogs, but the woods out there, near the quarry, are deep and cold. When the sun sets behind those trees, it's like stepping into another world. The teachers from Hawkins Middle have even joined in, looking along the paths by the creek. Folks are doing what they can, but it's as if the dark is swallowing up every sound.
That's the part that gets me, Julia. How fast this all happened. Will Byers is a good kid, quiet, polite, always on his bike, always hanging around with his friends. Dustin Henderson, Lucas Sinclair, and that Wheeler boy, Mike. They're bright kids, the kind that spend more time with comic books and walkie-talkies than trouble. Hopper said they were the last ones to see him before he disappeared. They said goodnight, and he rode off toward home. Somewhere between Mirkwood and his driveway, he vanished. They found his bike in the ditch this morning. No sign of struggle, no footprints, no tracks. It's like he just evaporated. Hopper says it doesn't fit anything he's seen before. And when you talk to the parents, to the neighbors, you hear that same disbelief, that same tightness in their voices. It's not just fear, it's confusion. Because around here, things like that don't happen. You lose power, you lose a job, maybe a dog runs off, but a kid just disappearing? It's not something Hawkins is built to understand.
And yet, Mike, it feels like it's only the beginning. I talked to some of the kids at school today, and they said the teachers are nervous too. There's talk of federal agents coming down from Indianapolis, men in suits asking questions about the power plant and that old lab on the outskirts, the Hawkins National Laboratory. You know, the one past Randolph Road, where no one's really sure what they even do in there. For years, people have joked about it, but tonight, nobody's laughing. Someone told me they saw strange vehicles going in and out of that area late last night. No lights, no markings, just shadows moving along the road. Maybe it's nothing, but after everything that's happened, even a whisper turns into a rumor. Joyce Byers said she feels something's there, something she can't see but feels watching her. When she said that, I saw it in her eyes. It wasn't hysteria. It was instinct. A mother knows when something's wrong.
You're right. And for anyone listening out there tonight, if you're near the forest, near Mirkwood, please keep your kids inside. If you see anything unusual, lights in the woods, noises, anyone wandering around who doesn't look familiar, call it in. Hopper's lines are open all night. And if you're part of the volunteer search group, check in regularly. Don't go in alone. This isn't just another small town scare. This is something else. There's a chill in the air tonight. And it's not just from the weather.
There's something else people are talking about, Mike. Some of the high school students said they saw the Wheeler girl, Nancy, hanging around near the woods, too, looking for someone. Her friend, Barbara Holland, hasn't shown up since that party at Steve Harrington's house. Another disappearance, barely a week apart. Hopper hasn't confirmed the connection, but he's not ruling it out either. You can feel the tension rising. Everyone's looking for answers, and the silence is driving them mad. You walk past the diner and all you hear are whispers. 2 kids missing, strange lights, the lab. It's spreading like static on an old receiver. Fragments of something bigger, something we can't quite tune into yet.
I drove past the quarry earlier tonight, Julia. You could see the sheriff's trucks parked along the ridge, lights cutting through the fog. There's this awful stillness to that place, like it's waiting for something. I don't know what's happening to our town, but I do know this. Hawkins is changing. It's in the way people move, the way they look over their shoulders. Maybe it started with one missing kid. Maybe it started before that. But I have a feeling we're only hearing the beginning of the story.
And the worst part, Mike, is not knowing what we're up against. People are scared, yes, but they're also curious. Every house with its lights on tonight feels like a lighthouse in a sea of darkness, waiting for some kind of signal. I don't know if we'll ever understand what's really happening here, but I do know that we'll keep talking. We'll keep the line open because that's what people need right now. A voice, a connection, something to hold on to.
It's now just past midnight here in Hawkins, and the town hasn't slept a minute. The search for Will Byers has gone into its second night. Chief Hopper and a few deputies have been combing through the woods near the quarry. We're hearing from sources close to the department that they found tire marks, but no signs of a struggle, no blood, nothing that points to where he might have gone. Joyce Byers has been calling the station constantly, saying she's been getting strange phone calls, breathing, static, maybe even her son's voice. Folks, we've covered a lot of things on this station. Factory closures, power blackouts, even tornado warnings. But nothing has felt quite like this. It's as if the town has stepped into something we can't explain, something that makes the air itself feel heavy. The roads are empty tonight, but if you drive down Old Mirkwood past the woods, you'll see headlights moving slowly through the fog, volunteers looking for a sign, any sign, of that boy. And out by the power lines, people say the lights have been flickering again. You tell yourself it's just the cold, maybe interference, but deep down it feels different. Something out there doesn't want to be found.
And there's something else that's been bothering me, Mike. I spoke to one of the deputies earlier this evening, and he mentioned a strange detail. Some of the men came back from the woods covered in what looked like a fine, sticky residue, almost like webs or fibers, that glowed faintly under their flashlights. Hopper told them not to talk about it, but it's spreading among the volunteers. They said the air in certain spots of the forest feels warmer, heavier, and when they call out Will's name, their voices seem to echo, not off the trees, but somewhere deeper, like it's being swallowed up by the ground. I don't know what that means, and I'm not one for ghost stories, but something unnatural is happening here. The power plant says they haven't had any surges. The lab officials haven't returned a single phone call. But something is moving in those woods, and the people of Hawkins can feel it even if they can't see it.
You know, Julia, I grew up here. These woods, these fields, they've always been quiet, steady, predictable. Farmers rise with the sun, kids ride their bikes till dusk, and folks stop by Benny's Burgers after church. It's been that way for decades. But I've never heard this town sound like it does now. There's a tension that hums beneath everything. This morning, one of the older men, Tom Henderson, Dustin's father, said his radio started picking up strange frequencies. He turned the dial and heard what he swore was Morse code, though it didn't match anything standard. He said it kept repeating the same pattern, 3 long tones, then 2 short ones, then silence. And when it stopped, his lights flickered out. The power company chalked it up to faulty wiring, but Tom's worked electronics for years. He said this wasn't interference. It was a signal. Someone or something trying to reach out.
I don't doubt it. Strange things are happening to everyone in small ways. This afternoon I drove past the old railroad bridge and I saw deer standing in the middle of the tracks, motionless, staring at something I couldn't see. When I honked, they didn't move. It was like they were listening to something I couldn't hear. And it's not just animals, people are feeling it too. Mrs. Driscoll from Elm Street said her clock stopped at exactly 8:15 last night. When she tried to reset them, the hands spun backward for several seconds before freezing again. And she's not alone. We've had at least 6 calls tonight about power fluctuations, radios cutting out, and TVs showing static for minutes at a time. The weird thing? It's not town-wide. It's happening in pockets. Almost like something invisible is drifting through Hawkins, disrupting whatever it touches.
I've been thinking about that, Julia. If there's one thing I've learned from years on the air, it's that truth has a way of slipping through even the thickest static. People are scared, yes, but they're also noticing patterns. The disturbances started near the power plant, then near the lab, and now they're spreading toward the neighborhoods. It's as if whatever started this is moving outward. Hopper said he's been in contact with some state officials, though he wouldn't say which department. But his tone changed. You could hear it. He's not just dealing with a missing person anymore. He's dealing with something bigger. He told one of our reporters, off the record, that he saw something in the woods. A shape, large and fast, but not human. Said it moved between the trees without making a sound. The man's a veteran. He's seen plenty, and if he's shaken, then we all should be.
And I think people can feel that too, even if they don't know it. The buyer's home is still under watch. Joyce has covered the walls in Christmas lights, saying she can communicate with her son through them. At first I didn't believe it, but when I stood in that living room earlier tonight, I saw them flicker in a pattern, a rhythm, like someone was answering her. You could feel the hairs rise on your arms. She shouted questions, and the lights blinked back, 1 for yes, 2 for no. I know how that sounds on air, Mike, I do. But when you see it happen, when you hear that silence between each blink, you realize maybe this isn't just about a lost boy. Maybe it's about something reaching out from wherever he is. Something that shouldn't exist.
That's the hardest part, isn't it? Trying to make sense of something senseless. The people of Hawkins are strong. Factory workers, teachers, parents, kids with scraped knees and big dreams. But this is different. It's testing our faith, our understanding of what's real. There's talk of closing schools, maybe even setting up roadblocks if the search doesn't turn up anything soon. We've never seen our sheriff's office this quiet, this focused. Hopper hasn't gone home in 2 days, and as we sit here, broadcasting into the night, I can't help but wonder, how many more secrets are buried in those woods? How many more shadows are waiting for us to notice them?
It's strange, Mike. You think of Hawkins as an ordinary place. But when you start peeling back the layers, the lab, the lies, the things people pretend not to see, you realize maybe it's never been ordinary. Maybe something's been here all along waiting for the right moment to step into the light. And now that it has, I'm not sure we can ever go back to how things were. I don't think we can, Julia. The question is whether Hawkins will survive whatever's coming next.
You're tuned to Channel X. This is Mike Clark. And if you're just joining us, we're continuing our live coverage from Hawkins, Indiana. The situation here keeps getting stranger, folks. That's the only word for it. Sheriff Jim Hopper just addressed the local press not 20 minutes ago outside the station. He looked exhausted, wearing that same old tan jacket and that grim expression we've come to recognize these last few days. According to him, the ongoing search for young Will Byers has expanded beyond the woods near Mirkwood. They've started combing the drainage tunnels, abandoned lots, and even portions of the old Hawkins National Laboratory grounds. Now, that last part, the lab, has been the subject of whispers for as long as I can remember. You can drive by it at night and see the fence lights glowing through the trees, but no one really knows what goes on inside. Some say they handle government experiments. Others think it's just a research facility doing mundane Cold War stuff. Communications, maybe physics, who knows? But since Will vanished, people have been reporting all sorts of odd things. Flickering power grids, sudden temperature drops, animals acting skittish, and what's even stranger, static interference bleeding into radio frequencies like this one. Yesterday, for instance, our signal cut out for about 2 minutes straight. Just a rush of static, and what almost sounded like a faint human voice underneath. When we played it back in the studio, we thought it might have said, "Help me." But you know, that's Hawkins for you. Small town, quiet streets, good people, until something cracks open and the whole place starts talking. There are search parties out there right now, trudging through the dark woods with flashlights and thermoses of coffee, hoping to find some sign of that kid. His mom, Joyce Byers, has been calling the station every day, asking if we've heard anything. Folks who know her say she's been acting unusual, hearing voices over the phone, lights flickering in her house. Earlier today, Sheriff Hopper tried to calm her down earlier today, but even he admitted things feel off. Now, I don't usually entertain wild stories, but there's just something about this whole thing that smells different. Like it's not just one boy missing, it's the beginning of something bigger. Something that's creeping in at the edges of our normal little world.
I've been thinking the same thing, Mike. I've lived here my whole life. I went to school with some of the parents of those kids. I shop at the same grocery store as everyone else. I walk those same woods on weekends. And lately it feels like Hawkins isn't Hawkins anymore. People look over their shoulders now, lock their doors earlier, keep the TV on through the night. And everyone's whispering about that lab. My neighbor Helen told me her brother used to work as a janitor out there back in the 70s. Said there were restricted areas even he couldn't enter, whole corridors sealed off. He heard machines humming all night long, even when the power was supposed to be down for maintenance. Maybe it's all small town rumor, but when you mix in what's been happening, the static, the lights, the missing kid, it stops feeling like coincidence. You know what else is strange? I drove past Benny's Burgers this morning and the owner, Benny Hammond, wasn't outside grilling like usual. The place was taped off by the police. Hopper had cars there and there were paramedics too. Folks said there was a girl spotted nearby. Shaved head, wearing a hospital gown, just wandering through the woods. No name, no ID. A waitress said the kid didn't talk, just stared like she'd been through something terrible. Rumor has it Hopper's keeping her somewhere safe, maybe to protect her. And that makes me think, maybe she knows something. Maybe whatever's happening around here, she saw it firsthand. But what really gets me is how people keep hearing and seeing things that don't make sense. A hunter named Gary said he saw a shape moving in the fog near the quarry. Not a person, not an animal, something that didn't move right. and when he went to check it out, all his flashlight batteries died at once. He swears by it. I don't know what's going on, Mike, but if you ask me, Hawkins isn't just searching for a missing boy anymore. We're searching for the truth about what's lurking underneath this town. Something that's been buried for years and is finally starting to claw its way out.
Yeah. And the strangest thing? It's like everyone's pretending it's business as usual. The kids still go to school. The hardware store still opens at 9. The jukebox at Melvald's still plays Elvis. But there's this tension in the air. A kind of silence that's not natural. Like the town's holding its breath. Hopper's got the state troopers involved now. And I heard they're bringing in men from outside the county. Maybe even some feds. But the lab folks, they're keeping quiet. Too quiet. No statements, no cooperation. I even tried to call their PR office today, but the line just went dead after 2 rings. I swear, this whole thing feels like the calm before the storm.
Mike, I can't shake this feeling that we're living through something the rest of the country won't believe until it's too late. I stopped by Melvald's earlier today to pick up some batteries and coffee filters, and Joyce Byers was there. You could see it in her eyes. She hasn't slept. She told me she's been talking to Will through the lights in her house. I wanted to think it was just grief, but the way she said it, she truly believes he's alive, somewhere close, just not here. She said the lights blink in patterns when she calls his name, and that she's hearing his voice coming through the static on the radio. She even showed me one of those Christmas lights she's been stringing across her walls, letters painted above each bulb like she's trying to communicate with him. It would sound crazy anywhere else, but here, after what's been happening, it just feels like one more piece of the strange puzzle. And that girl, the one found near Benny's, people around town are starting to whisper that she's staying with one of the kids, maybe Mike Wheeler. I drove past the Wheeler house earlier and saw the curtains drawn tight, even in the afternoon. Karen Wheeler was outside talking with a neighbor, looking nervous. You can always tell when a mother knows something's off. There's this quiet panic behind their smile. She wouldn't say much, just told me to pray for the children. And then there's this strange detail Hopper mentioned to one of the search volunteers. Tire tracks out near the power lines by the lab, leading into the woods and stopping abruptly like the vehicle vanished. He said the soil was disturbed in a circular pattern, as if something heavy had pressed down from above. I don't even know what that means, but it's not something you hear every day. People are scared, Mike. They're keeping their kids home, double-locking doors. Hawkins used to be the kind of town where you could leave your bike in the yard overnight and it'd still be there in the morning. Now even the dogs are acting strange, barking at nothing, staring into the trees. It's like the whole town can feel something moving beneath the surface.
You're right, Julia. I drove out past Sattler Quarry this morning. I know Hopper told folks to stay clear, but I wanted to see what the fuss was about. It was quiet. Too quiet. Not a single bird. You don't realize how eerie silence can be until it's all that's left. I talked to one of the deputies posted there. Calvin, young guy, maybe 25. He said they pulled a dummy out of the water yesterday. Thought it was Will's body at first. He looked shaken up, said it didn't feel right. Hopper confirmed later that it wasn't real. Someone, or something, planted it there. That's the kind of thing that rattles a town to its bones. Who does that? Who makes a fake body of a missing child and dumps it where it'll be found? You ask me, that's not just cruelty, that's orchestration. Someone's trying to control the story, and I can't help but think about that lab again. I grew up watching my old man talk about government projects during the Cold War. The way they'd cover things up, make people disappear, rewrite entire events just to keep control. The only difference is, this isn't Washington or Moscow. It's Hawkins, a town of 5,000, give or take. We don't make history here. We don't even make trouble. So why all this? Why now? And Joyce, God bless her, she's holding on to something. I don't know if it's madness or faith, But when a mother says her boy's alive, sometimes you just have to believe her, even if it means believing in something you can't explain. She told the cops that her walls were moving, said she saw something pressing through them, like hands or faces stretching out of the plaster. They wrote it down as hysteria, but Hopper didn't laugh. He didn't laugh at all. I don't know, Julia. I keep thinking about that girl. 11, that's what they say she calls herself. No last name, no records. And there's something about her eyes, the way people describe them. It's like she's seen another world entirely, one that doesn't belong here.
It's chilling, Mike. What's even more chilling is how quiet the outside world is about it. We've been sending letters, faxes, even calling the Indianapolis stations, and no one's picking the story up. It's as if Hawkins has been erased from the map. Maybe the lab's pulling strings to keep the news bottled up. I don't know. But there's this unspoken rule here now. Don't ask questions, don't go near the woods. And if you hear something at night, you didn't. I heard from Nancy Wheeler's friend. She said Nancy's been sneaking out at night with Jonathan Byers. Apparently they're looking for something in the woods, too. People think they're just kids playing detective, but I'm starting to think they've found something the grown-ups haven't. And that power surge last night, the one that blacked out half the town for 6 minutes, I saw it myself. The streetlights along Maple went out all at once, and then this low hum filled the air. Not a generator hum, deeper, like something vibrating under the ground. When the power came back, everything was cold, like the air had been drained. I don't think we're looking at a missing child anymore, Mike. I think we're looking at something breaking through, something that's been waiting a long time to be noticed.
If that's true, Julia, then Hawkins might be the first place to feel it, but not the last. I was driving back from the station last night, sometime past 11, down the stretch near Forest Hills. There's that old billboard half covered by vines, the one with the faded Visit Hawkins slogan from the 70s. And for the first time in my life, I actually felt uneasy passing it. The fog was thick, the kind that swallows headlights, and for a split second I swear I saw movement in the tree line. Not animals, not deer, taller, slower, something that didn't make sense. I stopped the car, turned down the radio, and the air was just dead. Even the insects were quiet. Then, when I turned the dial, I caught a burst of static, and underneath it, faintly, what sounded like a child crying. It came and went like an echo, and then silence again. I sat there for maybe 30 seconds before I just left. I don't scare easy, but that felt wrong, unnatural. Now, we've all heard of strange radio signals before. Propagation, atmospheric reflection, that kind of stuff. But this felt close, like it wasn't bouncing from the ionosphere, but crawling through the wires themselves. I checked with our technician this morning, and he said the signal spikes have been worse since the lab's power grid started running double at night. He's got data showing bursts of electromagnetic activity right before every blackout we've had these past 2 weeks. So maybe Joyce isn't crazy. Maybe Will really is out there trying to reach her, through frequencies, through the lights. And then there's that quarry. Hopper's been keeping folks away, but I talked to one of the volunteers who helped pull that dummy out. Said it looked too perfect, like it wasn't made for a movie or a prank. Skin texture, even fingerprints. But when they cut into it, there was nothing. No organs, just hollow space. Whatever made it wanted people to think it was human. That's not prank-level work, Julia. That's something else.
I believe it. And it's not just the strange radio signals, Mike. People have been hearing things out by the woods near Mirkwood, low growls, distant shrieks that echo like they're coming from a tunnel. Some of the kids claim they saw something through the trees, a shadow taller than a man, moving wrong. like a puppet without strings. One of them said it looked like it was melting in and out of the air. You'd normally write that off as childish imagination, but too many people are saying the same thing. I spoke to Karen Wheeler again this morning. She looked pale, said she couldn't find Mike, her son, all of last night. Apparently he and his friends, Dustin and Lucas, have been sneaking out following that girl 11. Karen said she went down into Mike's basement earlier today and found blankets, food wrappers, and an old radio rigged with a bunch of wires. Looks like they've been hiding that girl down there for days. And here's the thing. There were scorch marks on the walls like something electrical had exploded. Hopper's out there now trying to piece it together. It's spreading, Mike. This isn't just about Will anymore. It's like Hawkins has become a doorway, and every day that doorway opens a little wider. People's compasses are going haywire, birds slamming into windows, the sky glowing faint red at night over the woods. You can see it from the water tower if you climb up. Some folks think it's a weather anomaly, but others are saying it's the lab. Something they were experimenting on broke containment. And you know what? The more I think about it, the more it makes sense. That girl, 11, she must have come from there. Maybe she escaped whatever they were doing. Maybe they were using her for something they shouldn't have. The shaved head, the hospital gown, the nosebleeds. It's like she's been through hell and back. And if she's running from that place, maybe she brought something with her.
Yeah. And if that's true, Julia, then what we're seeing in Hawkins isn't an accident. It's a consequence. I remember reading about those secret experiments the government rushed back in the Cold War. Sensory deprivation, psychic testing, trying to weaponize the human mind. Maybe Hawkins' lab was part of that, buried under all the science talk. You look at what 11 can do. The stories from the kids about her moving things with her mind, about her closing her eyes and finding people. That's not fantasy anymore. Not when you've got people disappearing, lights flickering like Morse code, and something crawling out of the walls. And I've been hearing whispers that Hopper's closing in on something big. He's been seen at the lab gates arguing with men in suits, the kind that don't show badges and don't smile. Word is he's found tunnels, actual tunnels under the lab leading out into the forest. He thinks whatever's happening isn't just science gone wrong. It's something alive. What really gets me is how the government's acting like none of this exists. No reporters, no national coverage, just us. Just Channel X, the only voice left telling people what's happening here. I tried calling the Indianapolis network again today, and guess what? The operator said the line's restricted. That's a first for me.
That's because, Mike, maybe they already lost control of it. Maybe it's not just here anymore. I've been hearing from truckers passing through. Radio interference miles outside Hawkins. Power surges near old steel plants. Some of them said they saw birds flying in circles like compasses gone mad. Whatever this is, it's growing. And when it's dark, if you listen closely, not through the radio but through the quiet, you can almost hear it hum. Like the air itself is trembling.
If anyone out there's listening, stay inside, keep your lights on, and don't go into the woods. This is Mike Clark with Julia Marks, Channel X Radio, Hawkins, Indiana. We'll stay on the air as long as we can. It's past midnight now here in Hawkins. The streets are empty, the fog's rolled in thick, and from the window of our studio I can see the faint orange glow of the old mill lights blinking through the mist. You can almost pretend it's peaceful. Almost. But there's a kind of pressure in the air tonight, like the whole town's bracing for something it doesn't understand. I've been here my whole life, Julia, and I've never felt Hawkins like this. You know that stillness before a tornado touches down? That moment where the birds stop, the wind holds its breath? That's what this feels like. And it's not just feelings anymore. We've got proof something's wrong. A caller from the east side, Linda from Cherry Lane, said her entire wall started to shake around 10 p.m. She thought it was an earthquake, but nothing else moved. Then her lights started flashing in a pattern, almost rhythmic. She described it as pulsing, like a heartbeat. It lasted 30 seconds. Then everything went dead. The weirdest part? She said she smelled ozone, like burned wires, and heard a boy's voice faintly saying, "Mom." I don't think she knew Joyce personally, but her story lined up perfectly with what Joyce has been saying for days. Hopper's been running himself ragged. One of the deputies called in just before we went on air, said Hopper, and a few locals, including Jonathan Byers and Nancy Wheeler, went back out to the woods near the lab. They found a tear in the ground. That's the word he used. A tear. About the size of a manhole cover. He said there was a black, wet substance around it. Like oil, but thicker. And when they shined the flashlight down, it didn't reflect. Just absorbed the light. The deputy said Hopper reached out, touched the edge, and the air around it got cold, like someone opened a freezer door. Then their radios cut out. No signal. He said when they got back to the station, all the clocks were 6 minutes off. That's not just a story, Julia. That's physics breaking.
It's the kind of thing you'd laugh off if it weren't happening to everyone, Mike. I've been getting letters at the station all week, people drawing maps of where they've seen the flickering lights, marking them like constellations. And you know what? When I pinned them up on the board this afternoon, they formed a pattern. A spiral moving outward from the lab. Whatever this is, it's spreading. I also spoke with a nurse from the Hawkins General. She didn't want her name on air, but she said 2 people were brought in yesterday, both with severe burns, like radiation exposure. One was a hunter found near Sattler Quarry, the other a utility worker who claimed he fell through the ground. When she asked him what he meant, he said, "I fell and then I saw the other side." He died before they could move him to ICU. The nurse said he had black residue under his fingernails and his eyes were completely dilated. And I know we try to stay grounded here, Mike, but at what point does this stop being rumor? When people start vanishing into thin air? Because that's already happening. Just before you came in, I got a report that Barbara Holland, Nancy Wheeler's friend, never came home after a pool party out by Steve Harrington's place. Her car's still there, her shoes still by the pool, but she's gone. Hopper's added her to the missing persons list. That makes 3 disappearances this month, not counting the fake body they pulled from the quarry. It's like something's picking us off one by one and the government's pretending not to notice.
And maybe that's the plan, Julia. Maybe the lab's not covering this up because they're afraid. Maybe they're covering it up because they caused it. We've been talking about the lab like it's a mystery, but maybe it's not anymore. Maybe what they were working on, experiments with sensory gateways, telepathic projection, maybe they opened something they can't close. I've been replaying the static we caught on our signal last week, the one that sounded like whispers, and when slowed down you can hear distinct words. I didn't believe it at first, until I ran it through the filters myself. It says, "It's cold here," over and over again. I can't prove its will, but I can tell you it's someone. And wherever here is, it's not Hawkins. If 11 really can hear him, maybe she's the key. Hopper must think so too, because the last I heard, he was taking her back toward the lab tonight. Maybe to find whatever door they opened, or to shut it for good. But if they're going back in there, I hope they understand what they're walking into. Because whatever's come through, it's learning. It's watching. The hunters say they've seen it now. Tall, faceless, pale, moving between the trees. It doesn't walk. It glides. And every night it gets closer to town.
I keep thinking about what Joyce said earlier today. She called again, panicking. Said she could hear Will breathing through the wall, that she saw a shadow move behind the wallpaper. She said, "It's trying to come through." Then the line went dead. I tried calling back and all I got was static. Mike, what if she's right? What if that tear you mentioned isn't the only one? What if there are more, all over Hawkins, small rips, invisible until they're not? You can feel it, can't you? The pressure in the air, the lights flickering even here in the studio. I swear the floor just vibrated a minute ago. This isn't just radio interference anymore. Something's bleeding through.
Yeah, I feel it too. And if you're listening out there, folks, if your power's still on, if your radio still works, stay inside. Keep your family close. We'll keep the line open. This is Channel X Radio, Hawkins, Indiana. And whatever's happening tonight, it's not over. It's just after 2 in the morning here in Hawkins. We're still on the air, folks. Channel X isn't going anywhere tonight, even if the lights keep flickering and the walls keep humming. The police scanners have been going wild for the last half hour. I'm getting reports of multiple power outages all across the east side, near Loch Nora and Old Pine. Entire blocks are going dark, and the emergency lines are overwhelmed. Hopper and his team haven't checked in yet. No word from the Wheeler residents either. And now, something even stranger. We've just received word from one of our listeners, Eddie from Mulberry Street. He says he saw lights in the sky above the lab. Not aircraft lights, not red, not blinking. He described them as veins of light, twisting, bending like lightning, but suspended in one place. Said he felt the ground vibrating beneath him, like something was pushing up from underground. He swore the trees were bending away from the lab, like the air was being sucked in. That's not weather, Julia. That's something else. The line to the sheriff's office just dropped again, only static. We tried the power department too. They're seeing spikes on the grid they can't explain. I asked them to describe it, and they said the readings look like waves, surging and fading, but never stabilizing. They said it's not like a storm. It's like something's draining the power. And here's the kicker. I went to adjust the radio gain just now, and through the interference, I heard breathing. Heavy, slow breathing, like it was right here in the booth. When I stopped talking, it stopped too. This is getting harder to dismiss.
It's everywhere now, Mike. I can feel it too. Like a low hum running under everything. Even the studio feels colder. I checked the thermometer a few minutes ago. It's dropped 10 degrees since midnight. The phones keep lighting up, but when I answer, no one's there. Just that faint crackle and what sounds like whispers, too low to understand. People are panicking out there. We've had dozens of calls from folks near the woods saying they can see figures moving between the trees. Not people, not animals. Shapes, long and thin, with glowing outlines like they're made of heat. Some swear they see faces forming in the air when the power flickers. And one caller, a teenager named Dustin, said he was with friends trying to find the gate. He sounded scared, desperate, said, "It's open wider now," and then the call dropped. Mike, I think Hopper's team found it. I think they found whatever's been bleeding through, and if they're still in there, they're fighting against something that doesn't belong to our world. You can hear it in the air. The static's thicker now. The lights are dimming in patterns like pulses. Even my pen's shaking on the desk.
I can hear it too, Julia. There's a vibration under the floor, steady as a drumbeat. I just looked outside. The fog's glowing faintly orange, and the town's lights are flickering in waves, like the heartbeat of something alive. I can see movement in the distance, faint silhouettes where the woods start. Long shapes. They don't move like men. This can't be happening. Not here. Not in Hawkins. I just got a coded message from one of our inside sources at the power station. All it said was, "They opened it. She's closing it." That has to mean 11. She's the only one who could. Maybe she's at the lab now, trying to shut that gate Hopper found. God help that kid. She's been through more than anyone should. And the worst part, Julia, is that even if she closes it, I don't think it's gone for good. You can't unmake something like this. You can't shut a door once the other side knows we're here. You feel that wind? It's like the building's breathing.
The windows are rattling, Mike. I can hear the glass shaking. My hair's standing on end. There's electricity in the air. I think we're near the epicenter. The sky outside looks wrong. It's pulsing red and black like a storm with no thunder, and the radio equipment's spiking off the charts. The needles are slamming into the red. I keep thinking about those kids. Mike, Dustin, Lucas, Will. If Will really came back from wherever that place is, he's not the same. How could he be? None of them will ever be. Joyce might have saved her son, but I don't think Hawkins will ever recover. You know what scares me the most? It's quiet between the pulses. Silent. And in that silence, I swear I can hear something moving beneath the ground, like 1,000 tiny claws scraping on metal. This isn't just a tear in the world anymore, Mike. This is an infection. It's spreading.
And there it is, The hum's rising. You can hear it through the static. It's everywhere now. If you can still hear my voice, stay calm. Stay where you are. Keep your doors locked and your lights on. This is Mike Clark, Channel X Radio, Hawkins, Indiana. We'll keep broadcasting until we can't. It's 3:17 a.m. here in Hawkins, and we're still on the air. Barely. The power's been cutting in and out every few minutes. I've got one emergency lamp running on backup batteries, and Julia's been holding the transmitter steady so the signal doesn't collapse completely. If you're hearing this, it means we're still alive, for now. The signal range has been reduced to just a few miles. Anything beyond town limits is static. The last message we received came from a military frequency, scrambled but partially legible. It mentioned something called Project Black Veil. I've never heard that code name before, but the message contained coordinates that lead directly to the old steel mill on the edge of town. That place has been abandoned since '76. But if the military's converging there now, it means whatever's happening isn't just a Hawkins problem anymore. Julia's been monitoring the radio spectrum. We're picking up bursts of signal that shouldn't exist. They're not from satellites, not from aircraft, and not natural interference. They're patterns, repeating tones, layered like code. One of them sounds eerily like a heartbeat, slow, mechanical, rhythmic, and the longer we listen, the more it syncs with our own pulse. You can feel it in your chest, deep down, like something's trying to align itself with you. I just looked outside again. The fog is thicker now, glowing faintly violet. Streetlights keep flickering in sequence like they're communicating. And through that glow, I can see shapes suspended in the air, floating, twisting, as if gravity doesn't apply anymore. Julia, tell them what we found in the static.
When the signal first started breaking up, I tried filtering the lower frequencies. I thought maybe it was interference from the generators, but once I isolated the noise, I realized it wasn't random. There's a voice buried in the static, a child's voice. It keeps repeating the same phrase over and over again. He's awake now. At first I thought it was a recording, but the waveform isn't repeating, it's responding. Every time we speak, the pattern changes like it's listening and answering back. I ran it through the spectrum analyzer. The frequency spikes correspond exactly with the magnetic fluctuations coming from the gate. It's not just sound, Mike. It's a signal coming from the other side. And then there's the smell. Can you smell it? Like iron and ozone. The same scent before a lightning strike, but heavier, metallic. The air's thick with it. The boards are creaking, the floor's trembling again. The police have gone silent. The National Guard convoy that entered town 2 hours ago hasn't checked in. Hopper's frequency is dead. The only voice left on the line is that faint, childlike whisper calling through the static. I think that gate isn't just open anymore. I think it's alive.
Julia, look at the monitor. The signal's spiking again. 70%. 85. Jesus. It's climbing past 100. Everything's vibrating. The microphones are picking up frequencies we can't hear, but we can feel them. My chest hurts, like it's resonating inside my lungs. If anyone out there is near the old mill, stay away. Do not go near it. I repeat, do not go near it. This isn't something you can stop with bullets or barricades. This is physics collapsing in on itself. Julia, the lights.
They're strobing again. Mike, the static. It's turning into shapes on the screen. It's forming letters, and it says she failed. Oh, God. Mike. The ground's shaking. I can see dust falling from the ceiling. The signal's bleeding through every frequency. Even the AM band's glowing red. The dials are burning hot.
Julia, pull back. Don't touch the...
Mike, they're in the walls.
We're losing power. If anyone can hear me, this is Channel X, broadcasting from interference. The gate's expanding. We can see it.
It's not fog anymore, Mike. It's moving.
If you're still tuned to Channel X, if this signal hasn't collapsed entirely, you're listening to the last known broadcast from Hawkins, Indiana. The studio's half gone. The roof's cracked open, the tower's bent, and the transmitter's humming like it's alive. I can see the antenna pulsing, as if it's breathing. The light outside has gone red, not the sunset red, not the neon red from the Starcourt Mall signs. This is something deeper, denser, like the sky itself is bleeding. Julia's been trying to re-establish contact with anything. A police line, another station, even an emergency beacon. But every frequency is the same. A low, pulsing rhythm that sounds like it's coming from underground. There's no more separation between signals anymore. AM, FM, shortwave, it's all bleeding together. It's like the air itself has become one giant transmitter. I drove earlier, before the roads gave in. Main Street's gone silent. The lights are still on in some of the houses, but there's no one inside. The windows are open, radio's still playing, dinner plates still on tables. It's like everyone just vanished mid-breath. I went past the buyer's house. Joyce's car was in the driveway, the door wide open. There were marks in the dirt, not footprints, not tire tracks, just patterns burned into the soil, like something huge had pressed against the earth from below. I made it as far as the high school before turning back. The football field is split open, cracked like a wound. And at the center of it, where the goalpost used to be, there's this dark column rising, almost invisible until the light hits it. It's not smoke, not mist. It's movement, slow and steady. Julia's here beside me. She hasn't spoken in almost 20 minutes. She's just watching the monitors, her face pale as a ghost. Julia, tell them what you saw on the feed.
It's still there, Mike. The camera's pointed toward the forest edge near Mirkwood, where they said the first gate was. The trees aren't standing anymore. They're bending. The branches are twisted into spirals, like they're being pulled into something at the center. And when the wind blows, the entire forest moves in rhythm, like it's breathing. I tried adjusting the gain, tried stabilizing the picture, but it doesn't matter. The image keeps reforming into the same thing. Faces, dozens of them. The screen flickers, and you see their outlines, eyes, moves, expressions, like they're trapped inside the static. They're not ghosts, Mike. They're reflections, like the gates absorbing what's left of people, imprinting them in light. And the worst part, when I muted the audio, the signal didn't stop. The words kept forming in my head. We're still here. That's what it kept saying, over and over. Not through the speakers, but through the space around me. I could feel it pressing against my thoughts. Something's crawling up the side of the tower. I can hear the metal groaning. Every few seconds, the whole building shudders. Whatever's out there, it's close now. It's learning.
The last message I received from Hopper before his signal went dark. He said they'd found 11 near the school unconscious. She said she'd opened another gate trying to close the first. Then nothing. The line died. The same moment the air went red. I keep thinking about the old days, when this job was simple, when I'd talk about local sports, lost pets, weather updates, and song requests. Now I'm standing in a half-dead studio, talking to static, hoping someone out there's still human enough to hear me. Julia, are you still with me?
I'm here. I think the gate's expanding under the ground now. You can feel it in the vibrations. It's like the earth is hollow and something's crawling underneath, dragging its weight through the soil. There's movement outside the glass. The streetlights are bending. The cables are alive. The shadows don't match their sources anymore. They're moving faster than the light. I think the world's slipping, Mike. I think Hawkins isn't in Indiana anymore.
This is Mike Clark. Julia Marks is with me. Channel X, still transmitting. If you can hear us, if you're still there, hold on. There's light coming from the woods again. Blue this time. And it's not lightning. Julia, it's calling again.
I hear it too, Mike. But this time, it's using your voice.
This is Channel X, or what's left of it. The console lights are flickering again, not in the usual way. They're pulsing in time with that low sound outside. It's no longer thunder. It's something moving, breathing. I think the gate isn't a gate anymore, Julia. I think it's everywhere now. When the first one opened near the lab, it was small, localized. They said it could be contained. Hopper told us they'd sealed it. But now? Now it's like the air itself has split into two. Every reflection, every puddle, every piece of glass. It's showing another Hawkins. An upside-down version, still burning, still alive. I looked out toward the water tower, or what used to be the tower. The metal looks like it's melting. Gravity isn't working right anymore. Cars on Main Street are half suspended, stuck in the air like time froze mid-motion. There's no wind, no movement, but I can hear the air moving inside itself. It's like listening to the inside of a machine the size of the sky. And the strangest thing, radio waves aren't bouncing anymore. They're echoing. Our own transmission, looping back seconds after we speak, delayed but distorted, like someone or something is repeating us from the other side.
It's been repeating us for the past 20 minutes, Mike. I've been tracking it. Each time it repeats, it changes a word. At first, it was just noise. Then it started adding to your sentences. The last loop, it didn't say we're live from Hawkins. It said we're alive in Hawkins. The difference is small, but it's there. It's rewriting us. The signal is growing stronger the longer we broadcast. I think it's feeding on this. On us. On sound itself. When I stop speaking, it quiets. But when we talk, it responds faster, clearer, closer. The instruments are losing calibration, dials spinning on their own. The Geiger counter, the one Hopper dropped off last week, is ticking like crazy. Radiation levels shouldn't spike this high unless we're standing inside a reactor. The reading's maxed out, but the air feels cold, not hot. Like the energy isn't nuclear, it's something else. Mike, look outside. Do you see that?
Yeah. I see them. They're walking through the fog. Dozens of them. Not soldiers. Not people. They move like shadows trapped in syrup. You can see the outlines. Some have faces. Others just light where eyes should be. They're all heading toward the mill. It's like they're being drawn to it, like insects to a flame. But when one of them steps too close, it folds, collapses into dust. The others don't stop. They just keep walking. Julia, you remember the stories from the kids? The ones about the creature, the thing with no face?
The Demogorgon. Yeah, Dustin used to call it that. Everyone laughed about it back then, thought it was all Dungeons and Dragons, but what if it wasn't a metaphor? What if those kids were describing something real before any of us even knew? The reports from the outskirts. They said something large was seen crawling near the fields, dragging tendrils like vines. That's not a story anymore. I can see one of them now near the road. The way it moves, it doesn't walk. It unfolds. It's the size of a house, and it's not attacking anything, it's searching. The signal's reacting again. Every time that thing gets closer, the audio waveform spikes, like it's trying to communicate through us. Mike, I think the radio tower is acting like an antenna between both sides. That's why they haven't destroyed it. We're the connection. We're the bridge.
So you're saying we're the reason it's still spreading? That by broadcasting, we're keeping the link alive?
Maybe. But if we stop, no one hears the warning. If we keep going, it feeds on us. It's a choice between silence and survival.
There's no choice left. Hopper, if you're out there, Joyce, Jonathan, anyone, this is Channel X. You're not alone. We're still here. We're still holding the line. Julia, something's wrong with the reflection in the glass. I'm looking right at it. But it's moving even when I'm still. It's smiling.
Don't look at it, Mike. It's trying to anchor itself through you.
Static deepens. Faint whispering overlaps the signal. It's saying something. Can you hear it?
Yes, it's saying your name.
Then it knows who I am.
It knows all of us now. The tower's glowing, Mike. The signal's visible. Actual light running up the cables like liquid fire. It's pulling in everything. Sound, light, thought. The air tastes like iron again. If anyone's hearing this, Hawkins is gone. It's not a town anymore. It's an echo.
This is Mike Clark, with Julia Marks. Signing off. If signing off still means anything. The sound is everywhere now. It's in the air. It's in the walls. It's in us. This is Channel X, or what's left of it. My hands are shaking. I can barely keep my voice steady anymore. The room feels smaller every minute, like the walls are closing in, bending under the weight of the sound outside. I keep telling myself we're still in Hawkins, still in Indiana, still in the same world. But every time I look out that cracked window, I see less of it. The sky's different now. It doesn't move like clouds anymore. It breathes. Julia's sitting across from me. Her face is lit by the red glow from the tower. She looks exhausted. We both are. No sleep for, what, 2 days? Maybe 3. Time's gone. The clock stopped hours ago. All we have are the pulses of the signal to tell us when a moment passes. I tried to call out again, to anyone, to Hopper, to Joyce, to whoever's left. Nothing. Just that low hum, echoing under everything like a heartbeat that isn't ours. I don't even know why I'm still talking. Maybe because silence feels like death. Maybe because this microphone is the only thing reminding me I still exist. Julia, you can speak, you know. You don't have to just stare.
I'm scared to speak, Mike. Every time we talk, the signal grows stronger. I can see it now. You can too, can't you? It's in the air, those faint waves shimmering like heat. They move when we move. It's listening. I keep thinking about my mother. She used to say, the world is only as real as the people you love. I never understood what that meant until now. If she were here, she'd tell me to keep going, to hold on. But what do we hold on to when the world itself is unraveling? I saw something outside the window near the water tower, or what's left of it. A figure, walking slow, dragging a hand along the ground. I thought it was a survivor at first. Then it turned its head, and I swear, Mike, it was you. Not just someone who looked like you. It was you. Same jacket, same face, same voice humming under its breath. Only wrong. Like a dream trying to mimic reality. And when it looked up at the tower, I felt my heart stop, because it smiled.
Julia, listen to me. You're tired. We both are. You're seeing things. That's how it gets you. It pulls you in through fear. You can't let it. That wasn't me.
Then why did it call my name?
Because it wants to be heard. Just like us. We've been broadcasting non-stop, trying to reach someone, anyone, and maybe it's been listening all along. We thought we were talking to the world, but maybe we were talking through it. Maybe this isn't a transmission anymore. Maybe it's a connection. I don't even know who's on the other side of it. Maybe it's the people who disappeared. Maybe it's the other version of us. Or maybe it's something pretending to be.
When I close my eyes, I can hear them whispering. Not words, not sentences, just feelings. Regret, loneliness, hunger. It's like every lost person in Hawkins is still here, just one breath away, trapped between walls of sound. I keep hearing Will's voice, faint and fading, like a memory I didn't live. I can't take the silence anymore, Mike. Say something, anything. Tell me we're still here. Tell me this place is still real.
We're still here, Julia. As long as someone's listening, we exist. That's the rule of the airwaves. No matter what happens to the town, to us, to this world, the moment the signal stops, it's over. But as long as there's static, there's life. Do you remember the fair last summer? Starcourt wasn't built yet. We had the 4th of July fireworks near the lake. You laughed so hard when the fuse fizzled out, and Hopper tried to light it again with a cigarette. You said the sparks looked like stars falling into the water. That memory feels like it belongs to someone else now. I wonder if memories are the last thing the world forgets when it dies.
You're shaking, Mike.
Yeah. I can't feel my fingers anymore. The air's too cold. And the sound, it's coming through the walls now, not just the speakers. I can feel it crawling inside my bones. Julia, look at me. If this is it, if we're the last voices, don't stop talking. Even if I can't answer, keep the frequency alive. Promise me.
Don't talk like that. You're not dying here. Not in this place.
We already did, Julia. We just haven't accepted it yet.
No, don't you dare. You said as long as we're talking, we're alive. So talk, damn it. Keep talking. Say anything.
Okay, I'll talk. I'll talk until the air burns out. To anyone still listening, this is Channel X. My name's Mike Clark. Beside me is Julia Marks. We're still in Hawkins. The world's coming apart at the seams, but somewhere in this endless noise, I swear I can still hear a heartbeat that isn't ours. So if you can hear us, you're not alone. You never were.
Mike, look. The lights, they're turning blue again. The same blue as the gate. It's opening, isn't it?
Yeah. And this time it's not just in Hawkins. This is Channel X, or it was. The power's dying again. The lights are down to a faint glow, and I can see my reflection in the glass. It doesn't look like me anymore. It's breathing slower, like it's waiting for something. Maybe this is what happens when a place starts to forget itself. First the power goes, then the people, then the meaning of the words you're saying. It's hard to tell how long we've been on air. Could be minutes, could be days. The clocks all stopped. Outside, everything's still. Too still. No wind, no insects, no sound except for that low hum that never stops. You can feel it through the concrete, through the chair, through your chest. Like the earth itself is running out of breath. I've been thinking a lot about the kids. Will, Mike, Dustin, Lucas, 11. How they somehow managed to fight back when all of us adults didn't even believe. Maybe they were never just kids. Maybe they were the last bit of hope this town ever had. I hope they made it out. I hope someone did.
You sound tired, Mike.
I am. My throat feels like sand. Every breath hurts. But I can't stop. If I stop, it's over.
You've been saying that since the first night. That as long as we talk, we're alive. Maybe that's why the signal never dies. Maybe it isn't just machines keeping it going. Maybe it's us. The sky is almost black now. There's light out there, but it's not coming from the sun. It's coming from below. It's spreading through the cracks in the ground, bright blue veins cutting through the soil like the town's bleeding light. I saw the school from the window a few minutes ago. The gym's collapsed. The swings are gone. But the Christmas lights, they're still on in Joy Spire's house. Flickering, like someone's trying to talk through them.
Maybe she's still trying to reach Will. Maybe she never stopped.
Maybe she reached something else. Mike, I don't know if anyone's hearing this anymore. The transmitter's barely alive. The air smells like burning metal and the tower's shaking again. But if anyone does hear it, please remember us. Remember Hawkins. Remember the people who lived here. This wasn't just a town full of secrets. It was a place where people loved, worked, built, dreamed, and fell apart.
We always thought we were broadcasting out to the world. But maybe this whole time, the signal was never meant to reach anyone outside Hawkins. Maybe it was meant to reach the ones trapped inside. Julia, if it happens, if the signal pulls us in, don't fight it. Maybe that's how it ends. Maybe that's how we get to see what's on the other side.
I'm not afraid anymore.
Neither am I. To whoever finds this tape, if tapes still exist where you are, this is Mike Clark and Julia Marks. We were here. We saw the sky fall. We stayed on the air until the very end, because someone had to tell the story. Hawkins, Indiana. Population 0. The light's at the door now. It's not bright. It's soft. Like dawn. Maybe this is what comes after. Julia's smiling. I think we're ready.
Good night, Hawkins.
Good night, world.